You're Mark Dunner, right?
Hello, yeah, welcome.
Okay, now we're entering your shop, and we're in the middle of Temple Bar.
That's right.
And yeah, we see a lot of suits hanging here. But first, yeah, how long have you been here in this location with this shop? And yeah, can you tell me a little bit about the history of this business?
Sure, yeah. This store opened in 1960 on the 4th of July, just a week ago, 55 years. Prior to that, it was in Parliament Street, number 23, for a short time, where they had a premise fire and had to move. So,
yeah, we can show it here. Right? This is the Parliament Street.
yeah, that's the original store, yeah, which was just across the road from my father's tailor store. So he kept it in the same locality, and then after the fire took place, he moved to this location.
This is what we see here, right?
That's
location.
this very shop. It looks very different, I know, but that was this shop in 1960. And then we've had a few paint jobs and facelifts between now and then to get to where we are.
Very good. And yeah, your father, when he started, basically did the same business as you, hiring suits.
Yes, yeah, exact same.
Yeah, exactly. So can you tell me a little bit about how the tastes changed during these years?
Sure, yeah.
What happened?
Well, things have progressed, I suppose. In the 60s, dinner dances was a big thing. So his modus operandi then would have been to rent dinner jackets and kind of a lot of plain black suits for guys going to dances. Mm-hmm. Fast forward, and then weddings became a little more formal. Kind of people had a little more money in the 70s and started to maybe wear morning suits and that kind of thing. So the stock would have, transformed a little bit and gone more towards that. And then 80s, recession, some kind of hard times, and people were more looking for the day-to-day kind of wear, maybe more businessy suits. And then 90s, we got a little Americanized over here, probably saw a lot of movies and wanted to have our proms, so our debs became quite big, and guys looking for tuxedos and like frilly shorts, that kind of thing. And then into the 90s, the Celtic Tiger happened, and at that time we were doing a lot of Edwardian frock coats, kind of the real McCoy stuff, high-end things. And then once that ran out of steam, into 2000s we had people kind of, unemployment rose, and we saw a lot more rentals of kind of day suits, business suits, people renting for a christening, where in the noughties they might have just splashed out and bought an expensive suit. They couldn't now, so they came to us for a high quality suit.
Exactly, Mark, because this side is a little bit, on both sides winning, because when the economy is going very well, people have a lot of parties and they hire a lot of suits, and when it's going bad, they don't want to buy a suit, but they prefer to hire one.
Yeah. Actually, our customer probably stays the same, believe it or not, and then over decades what we give them changes rather than changing customers. We have guys coming here for 40 years.
Exactly. Now, if you can tell me the different types of suits. This is
of course,
what you're wearing yourself now?
Well, this is a lounge suit. We've 9 different colours in the range of those. If you want to follow me, I can show you.
Yeah, of course. I'm very interested. This is really
some
nice.
Mannequins here. It's probably the best way to illustrate.
Yeah.
So a lounge suit, for the purposes of this video, now your viewers are welcome to come and see in more detail, but a lounge suit has a short body. Most of ours have 2 buttons, although not all. Some might have 1. Usually people rent them from us as a 3-piece, i.e. with a waistcoat, but not always. And we carry 10 colours in the lounge suit. So someone hiring that is going to christening. They could be getting married. They could be just interviewing for a job without the waistcoat in that case, obviously, because they don't want to overdress. So that'll be the least formal suit that we hire, and even in that, it's still a formal suit.
Yeah, you can also use that for business.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I say if you drop the waistcoat,
exactly.
It's just a 2-piece suit.
Yeah,
then.
Exactly. Yeah.
The next step up would be evening wear. So I have a little display over this wall here for you. So the evening wear to the layman is a tuxedo or a dress suit. They're mostly black. We do have an exception up here in the white shawl, or we have this one that's just come on range in April. It's a navy tuxedo. So this is still a tuxedo in that it has black lapels, pocket trims, and it's dressed like one. but the fabric is navy.
Always with the bow tie you wear this.
Yes, always.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matthew McConaughey at the Oscars last year.
Very good.
I think he had one of those. So now everybody wants one. Then the next one up would be an Edwardian suit. So an Edwardian suit has a frock coat, like this guy over here. They're 3/4 length jacket. You'll generally have no less than 3, in this case 4 buttons on them because of the extra length of the jacket. And that's a very, very formal suit. You'd only wear that to a wedding. End of. You wouldn't wear it to anything else.
Yeah, there's not so much demand these days to that specific suit.
No, it's just having a rest. You know, these styles, they all recycle and things. What goes around comes around, I say. So it's just taking a rest at the moment. It's not our most popular style. To his right there, I don't know if the lighting is good enough to see that.
Yeah, it is. It is.
This is a morning suit. So this particular one is navy. We carry that in 6 different suit colours, and then infinite number of waistcoat, tie, cravat options. The morning suit, I referenced it back in the 70s. That was people were wearing those for weddings, and a little bit in the 80s as well. It never really goes away because 100 years ago that's what you wore for a wedding.
Very interesting, Mark. The last thing we need to discuss a little bit is the costs. Like for when you for a wedding, you keep the suit maybe for 3 or 4 days, or
Yes.
so. What is it cost?
We'll take what I'm wearing. So this is a lounge suit, black 2-piece shirt and tie. This would rent for €70. If a gentleman wanted it to use for a day's hire, so he could collect it on a Tuesday, return it on a Thursday, and pay €70. If he wants to make a weekend of it and is travelling abroad, etc., we can accommodate that. After your 3 nights are up, you pay 20% per extra night.
Very good.
It's about €15 extra.
Okay. The last thing I want to discuss is that you explain the Iceberg Theory.
Yeah.
You mentioned this, and this is of course very interesting. What exactly do you mean by the iceberg?
Well, in your research, you asked me about how many suits do I own, and I probably couldn't give you the answer, to be honest. But if you take any one of the mannequins that are standing around me, I think of them like an iceberg in terms of the cost of investment. So this suit here is the top of an iceberg, and below, in our basement, for this guy, I need to have maybe 60 suits because your size is different to mine, is different to this little guy here. So we've got to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old suits all the way up to every adult in every size. So whatever you see here, I have to have below the decks an awful lot more to support the customer because...
Exactly, it's perfectly clear. Well, I wish you good business and a lot of happy people with your suits.
Thanks, Wicked. Thanks for your time.
Okay, thank you very much.